Hey everybody, it's DisneyBoy21 here and welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to be painting Lizzie's hands red to make them accurate like the one we see in the webisode. So let's get started. So today we're going to make Lizzie's hands or gloves to be as accurate as we see in the webisode, because if you'd notice, she have red gloves in the show, but her doll have black hands, so we're going to paint them red. And if you're thinking like, what the heck is Raven doing right here, I will explain what she's here for in a minute, but I am doing this project while I'm waiting for Lizzie's hair to be done, because she's right there getting her hair all pretty. But anyways, let's get started. So for this tutorial, you're gonna need a red acrylic craft paint. I got bright red because I want the colors to pop a bit more, but if you can't find bright red, I think red should be fine. And then also you're gonna need this acrylic gloss varnish, though I would say this is optional because some people say you don't actually need it, but I just wanted to get it so that we could coat it on top of the paint to seal the paint and then make it look glossy and shiny and nice, so I got it. And then you're gonna need something to mix your paint, a plastic container to put the water in, and of course paint brushes to do the actual painting. And you might also want to grab a few sheets of paper to put them on your desk while you work in case there are paint spillings, so if it does spill, it will spill on the paper and you can just easily throw it away. But I would recommend you find an old newspaper or an old paper to do that, because I'm using a new sheet right now because I couldn't find old ones in my house at the moment, and it's pretty wasteful in my opinion, so if you can, use old ones. So before I move on with the tutorial, I'm going to explain what Raven is here for. So for some reason I was having trouble painting on the original black hands that Lizzie comes with. It wasn't really working and the paint wouldn't really stay on. So I asked a friend who was doing the same project, and they said they used a normal skin tone type of hand from another doll to paint it, and it worked. So what I did is that I took Raven's hand for Lizzie, and in return I gave her the black gloves because I wasn't really gonna debox my Legacy Day Raven, and you have to admit, Raven is really rocking those black gloves, so it's a win-win situation. So moving on, as you can see, I have already went ahead and painted the first hand right here just to get an idea of how it's gonna be, and I really didn't want to embarrass myself in front of the camera and mess it up. If you have seen my Elsa shoe painting fiasco, you would know. But it really turned out nicely, and I really love how the color is really bright and the paint was neat and didn't leave any wonky parts, so I am glad. The only problem that I faced, other than my horrible hands, please try to ignore that. So the only problem that I faced is the articulation joint part right here. After the paint is done, and if you do move around the hand, the paint will come scraped off. I'm not sure, but the only way you can avoid it is maybe if you spray paint the hand, but I wouldn't really recommend that because there's not much to worry about. Because after you're done with it, and if you put back her little cuffs right here, you can hardly see that at all, so like it's nothing to worry about. Or unless if you don't like that, maybe you can avoid moving her hand and just pose her in a definite angle. I'm gonna paint the other hand. First of all, make sure you fill your plastic container with water, and the next thing you want to do is squeeze out your paint into your paint palette or whatever you're gonna mix the paint in. Not a lot, just a tiny bit because the hand is really tiny. Oh gosh, look at that light exposure. It looks kind of orangey on the camera. I don't know why the lighting is going crazy, but as you can see, it's bright red. And what we're gonna do is that we're gonna mix a little bit of water into the paint to make it less thick. So we don't need a lot, so just dip your paintbrush in it, and whatever the water has, you just use that to mix the paint. So like that, it's really fun. So if you think the paint is still thick, you can always add another droplet of water to mix it up, but right now I think my paint is the consistency that I want, so I'm gonna get started with the painting. So it's really convenient because they have the little pegs here, so you can just hold it like that while you paint, and my camera is just refusing to focus, so I'm gonna really try to make it focus. Right. So take an amount of paint and you can just start painting it gently. I would recommend try to like paint the hand with one stroke, because if you do another stroke, sometimes the paint that's already on the hand will get scraped off and went along with the brush. I've already have a few of those incidents right here. So right now I think we've got it. It may look a little bit thick right now. I was worried about that with the first hand, but once it dries up, it will go nice and matte. So the paint bottle says wait for an hour, but my first hand dried around 30 minutes. So depending on your paint, I would say leave it to dry about 1 hour to 30 minutes. And then once it's done, we can start with the glossing. While we're waiting for that hand to dry right over there, we're gonna go ahead and do the top gloss coat on the one that's already been done. So let's do this. So this is the one. It does warn you that you have to wait until the first coat of the paint is completely dry. So make sure you wait. And it does have a really strong smell, so don't whiff that. And I'm going to be using this small paintbrush for the gloss coat because I really don't want to have lots of thick layer on it. And it doesn't recommend mixing it with water, so we'll have to go ahead and do that. Alright. There, so just one layer of thin coat on top of the paint should be fine, I think, because right now it looks nice and glossy already, so we're gonna leave that to dry as well. The varnish does have a strong smell, but after it dries, the smell fades away, so you only have to worry about that. And I would recommend that you have a designated brush for the varnish because it's a lot thicker and it's kind of harder to wash out than the paint, so use a separate brush for it. Okay, so right now both hands have been painted and have been glossed with the varnish. So now we wait because it turns out the varnish takes longer to dry than the actual paint. So it's been about an hour since I put the gloss and it's still wet, so I guess I have to wait a bit more. And after they're done, I'm gonna undo her hair and then she is going to be flawless. I mean, I don't really know, but I really hope she turns out flawless. And right now I'm confused which part to put in which video, so anyways, we shall wait. So her hands are finally done after I left them to dry overnight yesterday, and as you can see, the paint dried up pretty well. The color is bright, just like the way I want it, and then it's nice and shiny and glossy. So right now all we need to do is wait for her hair to be done, and then we can pop those on back to her and she will be ready. And here is Lizzie's final completed look with her new hair and her new gloves, and she looks really adorable, and I just love her so much and so happy with how amazingly she turned out. So by this time I think you guys might have seen the hair video already because I think I would put that up first, but if you still haven't checked that out, you can go watch that video by clicking the annotation on the screen, if I remember to put it. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope this tutorial was easy and helpful to you all. And don't forget to check me out on Instagram and Facebook at DisneyBoy21 for more photos. But right now, please enjoy a few photos of Lizzie, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all soon in my next video. Bye!